Depths of my soul, feeling the loss of control in the spirit, so colorful. If you feel it, then let's go to a place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Rise, rise, keep on rising, rise, rise,
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Toon Review YouTube channel. Celebrating 3 points last night against Wolverhampton Wanderers in what was a very strange game at first, and then it got going a little bit, and then the atmosphere at the end was just absolutely incredible. Now, I have seen on social media this morning one or two people nicking the flags that War Flags had put out. Just take them back, please. I mean, Christ almighty. You know, War Flags has done so much for this this atmosphere inside St. James's Park since the takeover, since they've come back. They do wonderful things. You know, they put flags all over the stadium last night. And, you know, some of you have been pictured sitting on trains or outside the ground taking the flags away. Just take them back, man. You know what I mean? It's just not good enough, and it's not how you should be responding to something that War Flags spend a lot of time and money doing. For you guys just to nick the flags, it's a disgrace. So take them back, do the decent thing, and you know, put them back to where they came from, please. Anyway, on last night's result, 1-0 win. A lot of people watched my instant reaction. In fact, it's #1 rated video on my channel now in the last few months. A lot of people agreeing, a lot of people disagreeing. But listen, I've had a chance to rewatch the game. When you do an instant reaction, it is exactly as it sounds. It's an instant reaction. You react to what you saw, you know, on the pitch during those 90 minutes. And my reactions are always the same. The from the heart on the sleeve stuff. You know, I don't bullshit around with anybody. I say how I saw it. Now, last night, I said Chris Wood was particularly. I changed my mind because I've watched the game again. Chris Wood did very well last night. His movement was much better. Now, some people put in the comments Chris Wood was class. Now, I'm sorry, Bruno was class. Chris Wood wasn't class, but he was much, much better. Yeah, and that's the way I'm going to say it. He was better, but he wasn't class. If you're looking at class, then you look at somebody like Bruno. You know, and as for Maxi, I'm sorry, but I'm not having it from anybody. This guy, you know, if you were in the ground last night, it's fair enough watching it on TV when he's running and think, oh, he's got 4 guys around him, but you don't see the space that other players are in that Maxi can easily lay the ball off to. And he could have done it a few times last night. The crowd are getting very frustrated with him, who have been there for years and years and years, sitting in the same place for years. They are getting frustrated because he's running at defenders and he's got nothing at the end of it, and that's the most disappointing thing. Fantastic at running past players and dribbling, but when it comes to that final ball, the real important thing, it's not there. And then when he goes down and he's waving his arms around looking for a free kick, because Willy Bolly had him in his pocket last night, just brushed him off numerous times, and Maxi didn't like it. He's got to be better. He's got to be better in them circumstances. And as for Miggy, I said he runs around a lot last night, and you know, when I've watched the game again this morning, I thought, yeah, he did some decent things with Bruno. So he was better, yeah. Mm-hmm. So not class, but definitely better, as in Chris Wood, better. So hopefully Chris Wood is getting used to this formation now, because what I liked from Chris Wood that I've rewatched again today is his runs. He's starting to make those runs in the channels that me and Alex were talking about that Dwight Gale would probably do and Callum Wilson would probably do. He's starting to do that, and that was what I did notice when I watched it again. So yeah, I've changed my mind on a couple, but ASM, I'm sorry, I'm not having it. This guy needs to improve, and he needs to improve with his whole. Alex, you probably disagree with everything I say on our ASM because I know you're a big fan of his. But listen, I want him to do well. I want him to get past these players, but I want them to be a final product, and it just isn't at the minute. And he tried a few crosses last night. They were dreadful. I'm not saying he was the only one, actually. There was a couple of crosses that were dreadful anyway from the other side as well, but hey-ho. Anyway, Danielle, your thoughts on the match?
I thought it wasn't pretty. I was buzzing when the first goal went in. Didn't see it was offside because I was too busy. We had family over last night watching it.
Yeah.
So, and then when I seen the VAR, I was like, are you actually kidding us? Like, I can't even believe it. I mean, it was a definite correct decision, but I just thought, the luck, man. Like, but yeah, I thought Wolves didn't turn up. Really, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know what I said to the guys around me last night that I didn't understand what Wolves were here to do in the first half. Because
no, and I don't even think I watched after the game last night. I watched the Wandering Wolves podcast just for a bit of a laugh, see what they were saying. The guys who came on the reverse fixture.
Yeah.
They were not happy. They were saying, that they paid with too much respect, that we're nothing special. They were fuming last night. But yeah, I thought we played well. I was a bit worried after the start of the second half. I thought we're starting to nap a little bit, and then the last 5 minutes I was just beside myself. I just couldn't sit still, waiting for that whistle to go. But it was good. I saw some good performances. Shame about Ryan Fraser. Hopefully it won't be too long that he's out for. But otherwise, a lovely 3 points.
Yeah, Alex, your view?
Yeah, I think we deserve a bit more credit than what some of the Wolves fans are necessarily giving us. I felt the game plan was deployed perfectly. Like their wing play and the way they exploit space down either side and switching, we nullified that. I mean, Joe Linton's average position, for example, was pretty much joined at Matt Targett's hip, and it was for a reason. That it was on purpose. It wasn't that they gave us more respect. It was that we planned appropriately for the opposition, having just been spanked by Spurs with the same formation, and we deserve a bit more credit for that. And we had it in the back of the net twice in theory with the disallowed goal, which was correctly disallowed. It's unfortunate, but at least there wasn't any VAR. There wasn't really any controversy yesterday, which is nice to have a fairly clean game.
It is.
I felt it was a fair result because apart from their manager's comments, they weren't dominant in the first half.
Well, I didn't get Bruno Lage. I don't know where he's coming from.
They weren't dominant. They had the ball more than us when we let them have the ball.
Yeah,
because we were just happy to defend. That doesn't count as dominating if we're happy to sit deep. Like, that's not the same thing.
Indeed. Mohsen over in Saudi Arabia, thank you for the 100. What is the currency in rubles or something? I'm not. Mohsen, thank you for the 100. Whatever the currency is, I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much, my friend, over in Saudi Arabia. Right, well, let's look at a few comments. James says, great result. I think we need 2 more wins for mathematical safety, but one might do it. I thought, except Bruno, Miggy actually played the best I've seen for a while. Yeah, I've changed my mind on Miggy. Watching him this morning, I thought he was a lot better. I was, it no matter what people say, it's very different when you're at the match and you're sort of looking around and things like that. And Michael, thank you for $44.99 super chat, matey. Absolutely incredible again. We had a good laugh last night, at the ground and, afterwards. And when the thing is, we walked out of the ground, came out the ground together and walking down past the players' entrance and stuff, and the singing and the chanting. And we kept saying, can you imagine what this place is going to be like if we won something? It would just be
on fire.
And I think Michael turned around and said, we'd all be here for 3 weeks. We'd not move. We'd not be able to move because people would just camp out at the ground for 3 weeks. It would be incredible. But thank you so much again, Michael. Really appreciate that. Andy says a solid effort from War lads all around. Hadn't realised it was a cup final though. Yeah, bringing those trophies on at half time. It was they brought a load of. I don't know whether anything came across on the television, but they brought a load of silverware on at half time, and it was for the Rugby League World Cup, which is later on this year. And of course, England are playing there for their first game at St James's. So they brought out the World Cup itself, the Women's World Cup, and the Disabled World Cup, because all three are taking place at the same time, which is fabulous. But to see three trophies on that pitch, and I remember turning to George last night and saying to him, during the halftime break, I says, that's in a few years' time, that's the Premier League, FA Cup, and Champions League trophies on the pitch. Fingers very much crossed. But we'll see. Our away fans are amazing, but check out Hansa Rostock at Fortuna Dusseldorf yesterday. They're completely mental. Listen, I saw the PSV fans at Leicester on Thursday night as well, and they were class as well. Just with the drums and the jumping up and down. Listen, St James's Park can be turned into that very, very easily. Just watched the Everton game. Man United were dreadful again. Absolutely dreadful.
Were terrible.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, they are just an awful team.
You can't rely on them for now, can you? Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly. Ryan says, Paul, I think you need to watch the game again. ASM had a fine game, and there's overreaction for him. Go to the 25th minute specifically where he's 1v4 and there's no support around him. I'd be whining. Listen, Ryan, no, I'm not having it, right? There was numerous cases last night that ASM lost the ball and started shouting at his teammates. That is not a team player. He was in the huff because he gave the ball away. Now, Ryan, I know you're a big ASM fan, and I know Alex is as well. But there comes to a point where, you've got to be critical of what he does because he's not doing it for the team. He's not being a team player. And what I was changed my mind about, certainly from overnight and watching the game again today, is definitely on Chris Wood because his movement was good. He really was. And Miggy was linking really well with Bruno and had a much, much better game. But ASM, I'm not changing my mind about because there was so many times last night he could have laid the ball off in very, very good situations. Once, he had Bruno on his right-hand side just to lay the ball off to, and he chose Dan Burn. I mean, come on. Think about what you're doing. It's unacceptable. Good Deal says, no doubts about ASM's skills. Indeed, he is an important player in the squad. Only he needs to improve his final touch. Anyone know how long Fraser is injured for? There's been nothing said on Fraser so far, but obviously we'll keep you posted. Majestic says, ASM's so important to our team. Thought he played great yesterday. Alex, come on. I mean, I know you're a big ASM fan, but I mean, I don't think he was great. Far from it.
So in the context of the game, if we remove this crazy height, high pressure thing that everybody keeps putting over his head, I think he was okay. His shooting was poor. There were a couple of times where he had a better passing option, 100%. So those things need to improve. He does need to improve his crossing a little bit.
A little bit, Alex. Come on. His crossing's terrible, man.
Well, quite. There were the three crosses he attempted. There was only Wood in the box for those three attempted crosses.
Yeah, but he wasn't clearing the first man, though. Even if Wood was in the right, even if we had players in there, he can't get the ball up.
Fair. Well, Miggy and Fraser suffer from the same issue and don't get the same stick
100% correct. Yeah, I'm not denying that. The crossing was terrible yesterday.
I'm happy to criticize ASM and critique, but it needs to be in context with the rest of the team. Like we're putting so much pressure on ASM to do the things that others are also not doing. But
does
in terms
of that pressure on himself, though,
possibly with the Instagrams and stuff, it is possible. But I think in the context of the game, he did all right. I've rewatched the game back and I've isolated all of those specific situations, and 9 times out of 10, Wood was a lot better at progressing the ball to him yesterday. And there were a lot of situations where, because we were so busy defensively, Miggy and Joe Linton were trying to stop the wing backs. When ASM got into space on the ball, there was no support. There were maybe 2 or 3 situations where he had the support, which was when Joe Linton was free. which is where the goal came from, to be fair. There was also one situation when Longstaff came on because he had fresh legs. He was the only player to go up and link up for Maxi. So there were many, many, many situations where Maxi got flicked onto, and there was one situation where he was against 7, and he'd got the Chris Wood who'd flicked on behind him and 7 in front of him. I felt very, very sorry for him. It wasn't, and again, it wasn't because the rest of the lads weren't good enough. I think it was just just a problem based on how we were trying to defend. It's just one of those things. Joe Linton and Miggy, a lot of our wide players were doing other things at the same time. So often ASM didn't have those options. I think he was all right. I think if you judge him based on a standard player on that performance, I think you can say it was reasonably good, but so many shots went over and too high. He needed his shooting was very, very poor. We need some of them on target. They was very poor, and needs to improve his crossing. Yeah, but if we take him down off this pedestal and just give it a standard assessment, it was reasonably good. He suffered from not having a lot of support in link up, but he needs to improve his crossing and shooting 100%.
But that's not where ASM wants to be, is it? Take him off a pedestal. He wants to be on that pedestal, and he wants to be high on it. That's the problem. I think he just needs to calm himself down.
I think it's better to have that mentality than not. Like, because the players who don't have this mentality, we want to get rid of because they're not winners.
Well, yeah, but Maxi, you know what it is? I think he maybe puts too much pressure on himself.
I think he actually, last night, there were a lot of times where he was starting. He wasn't sure whether to track. There's a couple of situations where he's tracking when he doesn't need to, and when he's playing the safe pass when he doesn't need to. And I think he's nervous because of fan pressure, and he's making the wrong choice on occasion because he's trying to play a cleaner game.
But Alex, if he wants to be this Ballon d'Or winner and this world-class player, he has to cope with that fan pressure. You know, Ronaldo's done it over the years. Messi's done it over the years. These world-class players have, developed a skin where they know that obviously the fans are going to be on them 100%. No, he's not. That's where he wants to be. He said it himself. So if he wants to be at that level, he has to appreciate he's set the bar high for himself.
Yeah, but people are judging him on the bar. It's a target. It's not where he's.
No, I know what you're saying, but he has set that bar by saying he wants to win the Ballon d'Or, etc. And if he wants to do that, he has to accept that fan pressure comes with that. And will always come with that. But at the end of the day, Maxi is always going to divide opinion. Always. Because he's one of them players.
Is I feel like all the fans have the same opinion about what he's doing wrong and right. But some people are glass half full and some people are glass half empty. I agree with everything you're saying about crossing and shooting not being on point. And he got bullied by Bolly. I agree with all of that. But I still think he was all right. Whereas some people think he was not good. So we all have kind of the same... we're looking at the same things.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, it
is.
And I think that's what Maxi will always do, and that's what I mean about split opinions: the glass half full or glass half empty.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that with Maxi. But listen, I'm still, when I watch him, you still get that feeling that you just don't know what's going to happen. He still gives me that buzz when he's running with the ball and he's taking players on. But it's just that when he gets to the 18-yard box, my heart keeps sinking because there's nothing ever comes of it. And there was numerous times last night that he could have given. You're talking there about when, making that decision to pass the ball. And, he's making the wrong decisions when he gets to that 18-yard line.
I was a bit confused by Burns standing out left wing. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm not sure what the hell that was about. I really don't know.
It might have just been positions and they were trying to fill in correctly, but it was a bit weird watching him on the left wing.
It was.
Yeah. Gary says, I'm starting to get annoyed at ASM. Stark stats on Bruno are wild. We'll come on to Bruno in a minute. So tired of ASM getting stick even when we win. What's the point? Cesare says, Bruno, dribbles completed 100%, pass accuracy 90%, 5 tackles, 3 clearances, 1 interception, 1 key pass. Class. Looks like he's going to be our catalyst for success the way Cantona and Bergkamp were. Danielle, I mean, you look at somebody like Bruno and he stood out a mile, a class above last night.
Yeah, he's levels above, isn't he? He was absolutely outstanding for the full game. I love his passion. I love at one point he was jeering up the Gallagher end and he was like, getting everybody on their feet. And I love that. He's just
when he picked the ball boy up, though, that was just... Incredible.
love it.
Photoshopping Ryan Fraser's face onto
Oh,
the ball boy as
I've
well.
seen that one as well. Putting Ryan Fraser's face on the kid. Incredible.
No, I think he's what a talent he is, and how lucky are we to have him.
Oh, God, like.
What a coup by the owners. And I know there's people saying that we didn't, you know, about this director of football and we need someone in for the summer, but I think the owners did a great job in January.
Oh, hell yes.
I mean, Trippier, Bruno, I mean, he was absolutely outstanding last night. And Eddie Howe said after the game he's going to be the focus of the team going forward. He's going to be the pinnacle player, and rightfully so.
You've got to build a team
amazing
around somebody like him. He's Toon blog actually sums up Maxi quite well here. He says his passing and shooting was way off last night, but then he makes one moment of magic with that flick, which leads to the penalty. He's mad. You know, those are the beautiful. That was a lovely ball he played through for the penalty. But that's what he should be doing a lot more often, because he had the chance to do that numerous times last night.
Well, this is why I love Maxi, because this is why I will always stay on his side, because the things he's not doing very well are improvable things. It's not like he just doesn't have the talent or the athleticism. He's got all of that. So the things we need him to improve are improvable things that can get better. That's why I'm happy to stay behind him, because you know, if he can clean up a few of those things, we will see the Maxi we want. So it's very possible.
Yeah. Cesare says, don't remember the last time we could truly call St James's Park a fortress. I think you did the other night, Danielle. Looking at our next games, I'm thinking we could and should get wins out of all three. Before it didn't matter. Indeed, Foxy, good afternoon. ASM was vital in everything about last night. If he didn't play, we have zero threat, really. Like the link-ups with Bruno and Miggy, they did a couple of 1-2s last night. Yeah, I noticed them when I watched the game back today, Foxy. And I know you're a big ASM fan as well. But listen, this is what it's all about. It's all about opinions. And, you know, you might disagree with mine and I disagree with yours, but it's all about how you disagree with someone. You know, you don't have to throw abuse. You don't have to do anything. State your case, state your opinion, and move on. That's why football is brilliant. It's to you know, because nobody is going to have the same opinion about all these players. You know, we're not going to agree about all these players. That's what it's all about. Someone sent me a message saying, oh, I'm subscribing because you're negative about ASM. Well, you know, fair enough. Go. You know, that's just pathetic, to be honest. You know, you have your opinions.
That's what it is, isn't it? I completely agree. And I think ASM, oh God, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm just going to say it. I think ASM is a great player. I love it. I love him, but he's very frustrating. Like, Lee's uncle was here last night and he's from Huddersfield. He supports Huddersfield and he just kept shouting, he keeps losing the ball. Why does he keep losing the ball? And I'm like...
This is what they don't show on Match of the Day. This is the same with Ben Arthur. They never used to show those moments.
I don't know. I mean, you know... It's an argument about should we sell him, should we keep him? I don't know what the owners and what Eddie Howe are thinking, but I think he's here right now, so we need to get behind him and hope, you know, he bangs a couple in against Leicester. Who knows?
Lisa's there. Looked like me. Wolves came for a draw and the plan failed. I can't disagree with that.
Fans were raging last night.
The Wolves fans, listen, they turned up in their numbers last night, the Wolves fans, and credit to them. You know, they took the full allocation. They made a lot of noise. But one thing you could hear was in the first half, when they had the opportunities to attack and they didn't, you could hear that they were very, very unhappy in the stands. A lot happier second half, because obviously they came out and went at us. But first half, they were absolutely foaming. And I don't understand what their tactics were. Were they coming for a draw, Alex? Or do you think it was just that, you know, we kept them pinned back?
No, I don't think they came for a draw. I think we just set up correctly and they didn't know how to break us down.
They can't handle the press, I think.
They didn't like the high press, 100%. They struggled. Our high press was good last night. There were a few times in the first hour where Shelvey was up on the left wing, made a couple of high tackles. Like the press was good. We had a couple of times where Cher stepped out into midfield and put a foot in. Bruno was doing the same with 5 tackles. Yeah, the high press was great. Matinho was absolutely pocketed by the majority of our midfield. He couldn't turn, despite the TV commentary trying to big him up constantly. He was fully pocketed and didn't do anything. He was getting frustrated. He was shouting. He got booked. And yeah, we nullified their wing play by the positions of Miggy obviously initially with Fraser and then with Joelinton on the other side. Which obviously, and then Wood dropping into midfield in the final parts of the game, which did leave Maxi, despite people criticising Maxi, was very, very isolated in that final half an hour because we had Wood dropped into midfield. I don't know if people realise it. Some people may
that
not,
was obviously an instruction. He did
sure.
drop back.
Yeah.
So I think he was told to do that, but
we planned very well, and they made the right. Their subs were incredible. That Neto, as Ryan's mentioned a few times, I know he loves Neto. Neto looks very, very handy. Wolves are going to be a lot better when he's fit, because I'm glad he didn't start, because he did skin Krafth a couple of times when he came on. So,
but hey, talking about Emil Krafth, credit to him, because there was one tackle in the second half which was superb, and that was on Huang when he went on a jinking little run. He originally got past Krafth, but then took another couple of players on. Emil Krafth did not give up on it and ended up making a brilliant block. Huang had the whole goal at his mercy, and Emil Krafth blocked it. And you know what? He's definitely had his criticism from everybody, but he looked a lot sounder than Manquillo did last week. 100%. I think it was the right thing to do to bring him back. Undoubtedly,
it looks like he belongs in the Premier League, which is something I've never been able to say before. He's had 4 or 5 reasonably good performances at this level, so massive turnaround.
Yeah, well, Toon Blog says Krafth was my surprise from last night. Normally I don't rate him, but loved what I saw from him yesterday.
Great.
He says, hi, Stato. Stato was right when he said it would be a penalty that won the game. You did.
That's the first thing I said last night when the penalty was given. I was like, Alex said it. Like,
my reply was stats. In individual games, there are a lot of people who are critical of stats and they like watching with the eye. Fair enough, but over a 38-game season, stats always average out. They always do, unless you get anomalies like the Leicester Premier League win. It does happen occasionally, but over 38 games, it averages out. Wolves had 0 pens and we had 1. Both of us were due a pen at some point before the end of the season, statistically.
The Wolves fans were commenting on my reaction video last night saying they should have had a penalty.
For what?
Well, I know which one they're talking about. They're pushing the box. When they came together, I think it was Dan Burn involved, but it was just strength. There wasn't a penalty at all. I mean,
I can't remember it. It means it probably
exactly. It wasn't even checked by VAR.
I can't even remember the situation.
I remember it in the second half. Yeah. I think George is a bit sick. Edgar David's dad. I'm sick of ASM's crap. Even on TV, you could see how shit he was. So again, different opinion altogether.
We'll just play Murphy every game then, shall we?
Alex, opinions?
It'll be the summer soon. And then let's see what the owners are going to do. Let's leave it at that.
Oh, dear.
Indeed. Yeah. Andrew says, once we handled the early second half pressure from Wolves, we dug in and found an extra gear. Yeah, we did. But then it was one of those Newcastle United moments in the last 10 minutes of the game where, we looked like we could score on the counter-attack. Wolves were putting pressure on. And by the way, I have to say this, Connor Cody's ball, right, that he clipped over. Did you see it?
One long ball. Yes, it was magical.
No, not a long ball. No, it wasn't a long ball. He was on the edge of the box and he just
chip. Yeah,
he chipped it.
As soon as he chipped it, I went, Paul's going to love that. As soon as he hit it.
And he gave us a wave last night, when he went off the pitch.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He waved and said, I'll see you next season, guys. I love St. James's Park. I love Newcastle United and I love the fans.
He was there for a while then, wasn't he?
Aye.
He was poor yesterday, in my opinion.
No, he
was poor.
Alex, give away. You just don't like him. Listen, we scored. He kept us at 1 goal by himself. Willy Bolly had a good game, actually, to be fair. The lap of honour at the end, yes, that was brilliant. Saudi money is real. All right, thank you very much for letting me know that. I do keep forgetting every single time. In one point of the game, Maxi had 6 or 7 people drawing to him. Just shows what a threat he is to them. He didn't have 6 or 7. That's practically the whole bloody.
They were in the latter stages.
No, I'm not having it. It's not 6 or 7. I watched
because Wood was in midfield in the final 15 to 20 minutes. He was taking on 7 or 8 because there was nobody else with him.
Well, no, because if he's taking 7 or 8 on Alex, that means that Wolves only had 2 players up top. Come on. Let's be level-headed about this. It wasn't 6 or 7 players.
100% it was. Go watch it. The one where Longstaff drives up to try and help him. He was on 6 or 7.
Not having it. I've watched it twice.
It's there to be seen.
Anyway, let us move on
Imagine if the owners sell him, there'll be hell on.
Well, listen, if
Won't
somebody
they?
offered, well, not with everybody, they wouldn't. You know, the Maxi fans, yes,
Yeah.
they would be crying, and Alex would be distraught and need counselling for 3 weeks.
I wouldn't be
But you know what?
distraught.
It would be worse than when Take That broke up. You know
Whoa,
what it is?
Don't even go there, okay?
Well, exactly, Danielle.
Oh,
You
man.
see what I mean? It'd be just the same. But hey, Foxy says, believe it or not, Sinclair said when Ten Hag takes over our club.
Oh, come
did he?
on, man, John. Get a grip. Get a grip.
Something's happened to his stream today, by the way. I've just texted him because he's deleted the show off through comments. So I don't know what's going on there. He has text back, but I'll speak to him after the show. I don't know what's going on there. Andrew says, I was proud at the don't give up attitude. Also, Wood took his penalty very well. He did, and a lot of people had when you looked across the Leazes end, and loads of people were standing like that.
Paula showed someone on the camera, pulls the hat down over their eyes, like literally, they pulls the hat down over the eyes. I was standing on the sofa, I was literally.
You know what it is, though. I don't think it was just so much that Chris Wood was taking. I think the nerves were there because it was such an important part of the game and such an important time to score. But listen, he took it beautifully. I mean, that was. Absolutely fantastic, hammered in. Mohsen in Saudi says ASM must realise that he's a footballer and not an Olympic sprinter. Fair enough. Roy says, hi, Danielle, Paul and Alex. Good to talk to you last night, Paul. It was, yes. Like I said, then 3 points was the only result we could count on. ASM was not supported. I would be shouting as well. Fair enough. AJ says, no matter how poor some of our players may be in the eyes of some fans, the entire squad deserves all the accolades for a brilliant recovery in the latter half of the season. Absolutely, AJ. No doubt about that. That ball from Wood to Maximin was so good. Maybe we should make him CM as well. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. He played, he did. Listen, there was a time, like, for the next 10 minutes after Chris Wood scored, he was winning everything in the air, right? And he was laying the ball off and holding it up. And I thought, wow, you know what I mean? If a goal does this to his confidence, let's go on. And let's just hope that maybe he's blending into this role now and he's starting to learn what he has to do.
Maybe he is.
That's why I want to keep him.
Yeah.
Because he'll have 2 years left on his contract after the season ends. There's nothing wrong with him being a squad player target man. If he can step up, like we need a target man as an option. Everybody's got one. So
yeah. Without a doubt. Wagner says, I agree that ASM is still holding the ball way too much. See what I mean about splitting opinions, though? It's not just me. It's not Alex. We've all got our opinions, and certainly from people in the chat today, it's as we expected. There's support, there's criticism, but you know what it is? We all want him to do well.
Of course we do.
We all want him to put the ball in the net. Or stick a beautiful cross in for Chris Wood, or pass to Bruno to finish it off. We all want that to happen. Man United fans apparently going into meltdown. I watched Goldbridge earlier. He's not a happy man. Abs is very interesting facial expressions from Stato. Well, doesn't he always?
Always.
The perfect poker player is Stato. I find ASM far too greedy, which lets him down. Far too many touches, says Andrew. Sean says Saint-Maximin just simply wasn't good enough. He needs to stop sulking when he loses the ball and try to fight and win it back. Wagner then says, but I think ASM also made a great effort that must be said. Listen, nobody's saying he didn't try, because he is trying, but I think he's over-trying. And that's the problem.
Yeah, I thought he was over-trying last night.
Yeah, I think maybe Eddie just needs to take him to one side in training and work on him a little bit. Just work on getting his head up and looking for these runs.
He's a 25-year-old foreign man in the Toon. It's the first time he's been here for a few years now, but he's a human at the end of the day, and he's had a lot of abuse recently. So he looked like he was over-trying, in my opinion. That's why I feel like we just need to give him a break. Just let him try and play some football without, even when he comes on for a 20-minute sub-appearance, he gets absolutely shafted if he doesn't score a goal. It's ridiculous. He just needs the pressure taken off him.
Yeah, but to be fair, Alex, the crowd was singing his name yesterday. A lot.
He deserves it.
He was getting a lot of fans singing his name, even though he was, people were frustrated. They were still backing him, and that was what I liked to see last night.
Yeah.
And I think he just, I don't know. He's this enigma, isn't he? That we know what's there. It's just polishing it, and it just becoming that
It's just
little
the
bit
criticism,
better.
like with the salary and stuff. Like Miggy gets paid more than ASM, and ASM scored. He got 7 goal contributions, and he's on 8 this. Well, I don't think that counts as an assist. It was a second assist, and he's on 8 this season.
Yeah.
So when you compare what he's done for us compared to Miggy, of course ASM should be on more money than Miggy. It's an open and shut case. So people
Listen,
are
I
just
couldn't
so
give a
critical of
baboon's
him.
arse about wages. I just want to
I
see them
couldn't
perform
either.
on the
No,
pitch.
no.
Boring.
I mean, we don't even know if that's true, that story. People talking about the salaries, that's not been confirmed that he's asked for this, that, and the other. That's just speculation. So,
Wagner says, I really wish that goal was legal. It was a very beautiful play by everyone
Yeah, it
involved. Yeah, the
was.
offside
It
goal
was.
was a beautiful move.
Amazing.
Fantastic stuff. ASM does 100% need to improve his crossing, but he's only just started attempting to do it, which is good to see. Yep. Look,
yeah, he's putting in 3 or 4 crosses every match now.
it's all about just, I just want Eddie to work on him. Like maybe he's worked a lot on Joe Linton, work with ASM, get him that little bit, take him to that next step, which is a challenge for Eddie. Eddie's got to sort of, I don't know, he's got to try and get the best out of him. And as manager, that's what he's got to try and do. He's got to try and take ASM to the next step. So it's not easy. Does Miggy keep his spot from last night's performance?
I think he does.
Yeah.
Unless Fraser can grow a new hamstring, I think it's just he does anyway.
If it is hamstring, he's going to be missing anyway. So, listen, it's between him and Murphy, and it depends who he wants to go with. But I think, looking at that performance again, watching it back today, I think, there is something there, and maybe Miggy feels comfortable with Bruno. A couple of nice little 1-2s, and hopefully, we can see them prosper a bit more.
Yeah.
I'd definitely say that. This guy is going to have an orgasm when he starts talking about Bruno's numbers. I think he's talking about you there, Alex. But I mean, have you got stats there for Bruno? I mean, Cesare has read some out, but
everybody's posted them. Like as I was instantly after the game, I was typing some out on Twitter, and the official account was straight out and put them up there with a heat map. Like everybody's gone nuts for it. Yeah, he was incredible. The 4 out of 5 long balls was very tidy. 5 tackles from midfield, 12 out of 17 duels. The Chronicle for some reason reported that he won every single duel. No, he didn't. He won 12 out of 17. Please don't do that. Like, check your stats first.
Don't mess with the stats, Chronicle.
It's especially because you're supposed to be a reputable sort of newspaper. Check it first. 2 out of 2 dribbles as well, which is nice from a role. And again, his role, it's slightly moving into formations and not stats. I really liked his positioning. I wonder if this is a cheeky look at what we're going to see going forward, because when we were on the ball and looking a bit more comfortable, it was Shelvey as a holding, and then Bruno and Joe as free 8s. Very similar to how City play and to how Liverpool play, which is really, really interesting with Rodri and Fabinho. Obviously, Shelvey is not Rodri and Fabinho, but Bruno was left to be moved up a bit more, which is really interesting. I wonder if that's a glimpse into the future, and he's not going to be that sitter because of his height. Might be his proper role going forward. Well,
I guess we'll see. Guys, if you are enjoying the show, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and consider becoming a member of the channel, as well as subscribing, of course. If you do subscribe, please do hit the notification bell, which will tell you when we upload a video or we go live. Thank you very much for the super chats already in. But if you want to donate to the channel and the remainder of the show, just hit the $sign at the bottom of the live comments, and it will take you through that way as well. And don't forget, you can now join the Facebook group, the Toon Review Facebook group. So if you're on that social media site, please do go and click the join button, agree to the rules, and myself or one of the mods will approve you. And we're also on Instagram as well. And we have a Discord as well, which is linked down below in the description. And TikTok. I keep forgetting to mention TikTok, but Susan runs the Toon Review TikTok, which is doing very well. Alex, she's got an amazing one for our show on Monday, mate. I've seen it. Hopefully she'll post it in the WhatsApp group, and you can see for yourself. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Have a look.
Foxy says we don't score that goal without ASM's work. Bruno scores his chance. That's another ASM assist. He had a cross for Wood, which was close, but too much pace on it. He wasn't amazing, but far from terrible.
I agree with that. I really feel like ASM should have another 4 or 5 assists this season because people just can't finish their dinner at all. Against Everton, he should have had 4 assists and he didn't. People like his stats should be so much higher. And even then, we're still critical of what he does wrong. Like this lad could literally be on 15 goal contributions and we'd still be saying he's not good enough. It's bonkers.
No,
absolutely bonkers.
I wouldn't be saying that.
But those stats could be up there, but that's through. There's no control on his end, right?
Well, you're talking hypothetically there, aren't you? You know, you're talking hypothetically. He doesn't have 15 assists, and that's what we want. That's him getting to the next level, isn't it?
Well, no, because he's not doing anything differently. If somebody else finishes their chance, he's not done anything more or less. He did the same part.
No, I think he needs to be that next level up, and that's when the assists start rolling in. His decision making needs to improve.
Fair enough. I disagree, but
that's fine. But we'll agree to disagree, Alex, as we normally do with the SM. Anyway, let's move on from ASM because we've had the point. Thank you, God. Anyway. Danielle, the defense was very, very resolute again yesterday.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
really
I think
impressed.
Byrne and Shaw looked very, very comfortable. The fullbacks, there was a couple of times Krafth got sucked in a little bit second half, but I think that's just his genuine game at right back. I don't think it's anything he's doing wrong. I just think that's his game, that he comes very narrow, but. Target was on, brilliant again yesterday.
I was really impressed with Target again yesterday.
But they needed to, I guess, after Tottenham, didn't they? They needed that good game.
And we got it. I was a bit concerned before kickoff that Byrne wasn't going to start. So I was, oh no, but like, what a performance from all of them. I thought they did really well yesterday, and they needed, like you say, they needed that after last weekend. But yeah, they did a really good job. I was really impressed with Krafth and Shaw. I was a bit concerned when Shaw went down. I thought, oh, God,
well, Shea was limping badly at the end. He was limping in the last 10 minutes, but as usual with Fabian Shea, he just battles on, doesn't he?
That's what I was thinking, because with Fraser, a lot of the time he does as well. It's just on this occasion, obviously the injuries more than he could have dealt with on the pitch. But yeah, what a fantastic game. Hopefully Shaw's okay for Leicester. And it's not anything that's going to take him out, because I think those 4 need to start again.
Andy says, give up, Paul. You cannot win. You might be right, but Alex just convinces me every time with his delivery. He could say we could sign the late Queen Mother, and I'd believe him. Well, okay.
I just think that everyone has a different relationship with the club. Everyone has their own individual reasons for loving the club and for loving players and for doing that. And I'm not a stats person. I don't go on stats. I go on my heart and my emotion, and I'm wrong a lot of the time because of that. I'm a bit like you, Paul. I react in the moment, and I absolutely do. So I don't know. I think with ASM, we'll see what happens with them.
People have followed this channel for long enough now to know the heart is on the sleeve with me, and I say it how I see it, and then I will go back. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. And I was wrong about Wood, and I was wrong about Miggy. I'm not changing my mind on Saint-Maximin, but that's my opinion. But I was wrong on Wood and Miggy, no doubt about it. So hey ho. Wayne says, what a save by Dupes to his right, especially because he had nothing to do most of the evening. That was a brilliant save, because that was right in front of where I was sitting. I was right behind that, and that shot, I think he was very unsighted on it, Alex, and just saw it at the last minute and managed to get down to the right to push it away. Yeah,
no, Dubravka's, he's been really tidy. Apart from the goals against Tottenham, which in my opinion were very hard to save. They were all very bobbly, bouncy. Yeah, they were crazy shots. He's improved a lot. His major criticism from people has been his distribution, which was fine yesterday. He's hitting Wood more often than not. He's finding people up the pitch. Yeah. He's not hitting it out for a throw-in 3 times a game like he used to. His distribution in recent weeks has really, really improved, because he knows that we're sniffing around goalkeepers, and these bits of his game are starting to improve. Despite his age, I'm liking the Dubravka we've got at the moment. I don't think there's any reason to be prioritizing a new goalkeeper, and especially not a starter necessarily.
Well, his delivery was a lot better last night, and when he was coming out for crosses, he was claiming every single one of them. There was nothing wrong with his catching yesterday, his delivery yesterday. Everything was spot on, and yet again, he makes vital saves at the vital time. So, is a goalkeeper really a necessity next season? I don't know.
We go back and forward and Dubravka as well,
yeah,
don't
because
we?
he has his moments. I think that's why, Danielle. I think he has his moments where he can be a little bit, but I think it's all about who's in front of him as well. And I think, now he's got Shah and Byrne. He seems to have a fantastic understanding with the whole of the back four. That's one thing I have noticed. That somebody is shouting for the ball and everybody else leaves it. There is an understanding there. And I think that's sort of brought Dubravka's game back up again, is that he trusts who is in front of him, which is fantastic for us to know and fantastic for him. The move for the disallowed goal was unreal, by the way. Didn't know we had that in our locker. It was as if Miggy and Bruno linked up really well, which I never expected. Yeah, it was a fantastic move. Dunk says, big 3 points and quite impressed by Wood's performance. Credit where it's due. Maxi was and is frustrating, but we have Bruno now. Wow, what a player. Head and shoulders above anyone last night. Yeah, he was incredible. He was
a different type of gravy, you might say.
Yeah. Stephanie says, I hope Ryan Fraser is okay, but he looked very concerned. But it is what it is. The hamstring again, Danielle, he's had problems with his hamstring before, but he tried to play on, bless him, but it was never going to happen. I mean, as soon as your hamstring, you don't keep a player on the pitch for that.
No, and I think it was clear when he went off and came back on, as soon as he tried to run, it was just, he couldn't continue. And like I said earlier, Fraser's a warrior. So if he can play on, and we've seen him when he played against Leeds and he was almost on 1 foot at one point towards the end of the game, he was really left everything on the pitch. So it was sad to see, especially so early in the game. And hopefully we're all behind him and we can get him back. Maybe 2-3 weeks. Hopefully.
I don't know if you saw, Paul, but on the TV view, as he left the field, he screamed before he went down. I don't know if he went down into the tunnel or if he went on I'm not sure where he went.
Right.
But
he looked from where I was sitting. I thought he looked upset.
Yeah.
He let out a absolute roar. He was peed off. I think he thinks his season might be over. Because that was a big scream from him. He was really frustrated.
And that's a shame because he's been...
sad to say, isn't it?
Unless it was because he wanted to play the home game and he was happy to be back. But that was a big roar. He was not happy. He was really
in a way, though, that's the kind of thing you want to see from Ryan Fraser, because in the past, he's had a lot of criticism that he's not the player that everyone thought he was. And then Eddie Howe's come in and the players come to life. Ryan Fraser is a fantastic player. And he cares, and you could see it yesterday when he went off. He looked broken to me, but hopefully, I mean, I'm an optimist, so I'd love to see him back before the end of the season. But we'll see. Hopefully, we can get him back.
The hamstrings take a while, and I know Ryan Fraser's,
especially his hamstrings.
His hamstrings, not the greatest in the world. They're a bit like Callum Wilson's made of string. Yeah. But here,
funny.
What app do you use to stream with StreamYard? It's not an app; it's just a website. It's Chesra says, "Don't worry, Saudis. Paul thinks the South African currency are twigs. Well, they are, aren't they? You get 3 twigs every time you wrestle a bloody great white shark, Chesra." Julie agrees with you that there was 7 on him at one time. Whatever. She's from Birmingham.
Don't start again.
What mattress fans watching? He was awful. Get rid, says Robert. Okay. Howe has said that obviously ESM has a long-term future. Indeed he does.
He's not going to say anything else, is he? He's not going to say, "Oh no, we're going to get rid of him in the summer. Or this player's going to go because he's crap, and this player's going to go because he's crap." It's not how you manage people.
Well, I mean, listen, I think it's very strange for me because, looking at last week's defeat and seeing all those comments about Eddie Howe out and all of that, they soon disappeared last night, because...
Amazing that, isn't it?
Eddie is our king again was being said. Everybody was singing it. So there must have been people in that ground last night singing that song, knowing damn well that they put Eddie Howe out on some sort of social media platform.
You know what I think it is? I just think that some parts of the fan base, they just panic. When something goes wrong and they think, "Oh God, that's it, it's over, we're going to get relegated," and it's because of what we've been through in the past 14 years prior to this. So hopefully as time goes on and the rebuild continues and we get more success, that'll get less and less, hopefully.
Yeah, people need to grow emotionally in this fan base because
I need to grow emotionally.
we're gonna lose cup finals potentially. We're gonna miss out on places. It could happen. It doesn't.
Well,
mean
it
we
will
won't be
happen, won't it?
successful.
We're not going to. There will be times when we go into semi-finals and finals, and we will lose.
Yeah, exactly. This happens to
Chelsea
every
lose,
team,
Man
so-
City lose. I mean, nobody expected Man City to lose the Champions League final last season to Chelsea.
Exactly.
They
Doesn't mean
did.
Pep's not good.
I
Exactly.
definitely need to grow emotionally. Last night, Lee's uncle said that if that penalty didn't go in, he was going home. He said, I'm getting my shoes on, I'm going home if this penalty doesn't go in.
Holy hell. Southampton, they're losing 4-0 at home to Chelsea at half-time. Dear me. Arsenal 0, Brighton 1. And Leeds are winning at Watford. Wow.
Well, Chelsea must
Arsenal
have had
losing at home to Brighton as well.
Brighton need
they
a
lost
win,
4-1
though.
to Brentford, didn't they? So Chelsea have come out
Yeah,
swinging.
and of course the Real Madrid defeat as well wouldn't have helped that. So I think they've had to come out and make a point.
Or Southampton are getting the stress that they release. They're venting out in Southampton.
Indeed. Wayne says was another brilliant dressing room photo last night. Yeah, it was. Susan, who photoshopped me into that? By the way, was that Susan? Because I don't know who that was.
See, I don't know. I was just told that you were there at the time.
Yeah, I just saw the bloody thing.
We had a team photo in our group chat that Paul got photoshopped into last night.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
I was near the back. I was there, just invited down for a bit of a celebration. But well, let's have a look. The fans singing ASM's name came across loud and clear on the radio, says Andy. Vortex has watched an interview with Wood last night. He said Eddie asked him to change his playing style almost every game depending on opponents. May explain his inconsistencies a bit, just a thought. And you know what? One thing that Chris Wood said, I think it was on ESPN, he said it, that he knew he was a stopgap striker at the club. He actually said it. So he said that on ESPN, which, was very interesting for me. And given that I watched the game again and, some of his runs were good last night.
I think that makes me feel a bit sad.
At the end of the day, he can, like Alex said before, Alex says he wants him to stay because he could make some sort of an impact next season.
Yeah. If he improves, then he's got 2 years and he could be part of the, if we want to be playing in every competition, then we'll need players.
But it's like, remember, I have always said that he misses having that striker up front with him because he misses a Barnes-type like player who did all the dirty work for him. And he's having to do everything. So, you know what? Yeah, I have been critical of Wood, but when I watched that again today, I was wrong. I'll hold my hands up. I was wrong about him and Miggy, and so.
Well, you're not on your own there. 99% of the fan base have been critical with Chris Wood.
It's just when you see a game, you see it live, and you get back in the car and you do a video. It's instant reaction. That's why I call it the instant reaction, because it is. And all I say to them is, it's all about opinions. And if you don't have it, if you don't agree with the opinion, then put your opinion in. But it's how you put your opinion. Don't be abusive or nasty. There's no reason to be like that.
When we lose,
someone's got different.
The instant reaction in the chat is unreal. Like some of the things you see from people's emotion and frustration. But it happens. That's just because we're human beings. That's it.
Yeah. The skill from Miggy in the ruled out goal was absolutely class. We need more of that from him now. Brilliant result, another win, and we're safe. Alex, this is the thing about Miggy, though. He gives us glimpses of what he can do. We know he's so good when he goes on these, international breaks, and he's so good. And then he gives us glimpses of that last night. He just has to be consistent.
Yeah, I mean, credit to him. Last night, and there was a few weeks ago when he had that interesting little half volley. Was it against Chelsea? He's had a couple of moments, and especially last night, where it wasn't just energy. He actually gave us a bit more on the ball, which is all we've been asking from him for a very long time. It was just stop just running about and do something with the ball, because we need to progress from hard graft to quality at some point. And he did that. And at the moment, because we can't clear everybody out in the summer. I don't want us to clear everybody out. Some people do, but
I think that's a pipe dream, Alex, because that can't happen. It's just
of course not.
It's just like Goldbridge said this afternoon about Man United. All the fans want a certain amount of players out the door. It's not going to happen. You can't run a business like that. You can't just sort of sell all your stock and get new stock in. It has to be a process.
Well, that's a position. That's a funny position because we've got Ryan Fraser in there right now as the right wing, which it does seem they want to upgrade on him anyway. So in theory, it's going to be a new right winger and Fraser, and then do we keep a third option? So that other player is between Miggy and Murphy. So at the moment, it's an interesting little battle between them. I mean, Murphy seems like he's very well liked. He's mates with everybody on and off the pitch, it seems, in photographs. But I think it is between Murphy and Miggy as to who goes and who stays, because I think we need to keep one of them just for depth. Especially Murphy can play wing back, but Miggy can also play a bit more centrally. It's really interesting. I don't think it'll be weird if we lost both of them unless we do buy an incredible amount of players, which would be weird.
True. Toon says the stats could be up there for ASM, but they're not, Alex. Same as if my uncle had tits, he'd be my auntie, but he's not. That was like that chef said on this morning, wasn't he?
Toon's wait for me to say if every time.
My granny had a bike, if my granny had wheels, she'd be a bike.
There's nothing wrong with hypotheticals. Sorry, that's my dog going a bit crazy. Toonza literally waits for me to say if in a sentence and then picks up the keyboard every single time without fail. I'm not having it. There's nothing wrong with discussing hypotheticals in football because we're talking about.
Stick up for yourself.
Hypotheticals are a plan. It's about for the future. If we could do this, what would happen? If this is what the staff and Eddie Howe are doing every week, is hypotheticals and future planning. And there's nothing wrong with saying if other people had better finishing, ASM would be on more assists. That's true. There's nothing wrong with talking about ifs. You can't just shut somebody down if somebody says an if and a conditional. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
they're opinions and it's dialogue. We've got to talk about something, haven't we?
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, and this is what I keep saying: is if everybody agreed on everything, then what the hell would we do for a show? Just yeah, I agree.
Like Chris Wood will have. We talked about Chris Wood gets different instructions every game. Howe will say, okay, if these defenders start, then you need to do this. If those defenders start, you need to do this. That if is okay, right? So there's nothing wrong with talking about ifs and buts. Yeah, it needs to be done.
Exactly. Andy says Fraser is the Black Knight from the Holy Grail. Cut his legs off and he'll still keep trying. Yeah, he would actually. Yeah. Gary says, obviously, I'm not a professional player, but I've just overcome a hamstring tear and it's taken me 12 weeks to get better. Fraser looked well pissed off. Yeah, I think it's possibly...
It's a shame, though, isn't it?
Shame. Because he has changed a lot of people's opinions of him this season. He clearly didn't see eye to eye with Steve Bruce, like a few others didn't. And, it's a bit like Maxi, really. And is it Steve Bruce's fault for what's happened to Maxi? Because making Maxi the only outlet in the team, it's hard for Maxi to change his ways.
Imagine if he'd been coached in those 2 years under Bruce.
So maybe we have to look at the way he was coached and managed and say, right, it was wrong because everything was put on his shoulders. And to be fair, under Steve Bruce, everything was put on Maxi's shoulders. It was get the ball to Maxi as much as we can. Yeah, and let him run with it. And to be fair, he's now got to change his game because he's got to accommodate the rest of the team. It's not the same instructions that he's getting. So, we can balance it out. It's there is ways he can get better, definitely. And I do look forward to seeing that. I'm getting wrong off Julie again. Don't start that one again. You're a Geordie, really. You're an adopted Geordie, Julie. Mm-hmm. We love you. Let's just get this season over with. The fun starts next season. Good show, says Andrew. Thank you very much. Cesare says losing cup finals is a dream compared to the last 14 years. Yeah.
True.
Grim.
Christopher says the Gallagher end expected and would delivered. That penalty was well taken under a lot of pressure. Look, brilliant. I think the pressure was on him. There was no doubt about that because he knows, and you could tell in his interview, he knows the flack he was getting. He knows the pressure that he was under. And, when I've had time to think about it like everybody else has, the pressure that must have been on him yesterday, taking that penalty, and to take it as well as he did, hats off to him. Seriously, it was a very, very well taken penalty. Royce's hypothetical question, guys: if Dan Ashworth is appointed director of football, would you trust his judgment, i.e., who goes and who stays?
Oh, we're not allowed hypotheticals. Remember?
Oh, who said that?
No, it was Toonza. Not allowed ifs.
Toons has really got under your skin with that comment, hasn't he?
Yeah, he
He's
has.
done it like 4 shows in a row. Whenever I say
Okay.
about an if, it just goes for me straight away, and it's annoyed me.
Fair enough.
I ignored it the first 3 times.
Bless you.
Oh dear.
Sorry,
He's
Paul.
got-
Dan Ashworth.
It's fine, matey. Don't you worry about that. You know, hypothetically saying, listen, I don't think we should talk hypothetically about Dan Ashworth because I think, you know, we have to wait and see what happens with that because if, you know, for all we know, he could be, you know, doing stuff behind the scenes anyway. We just don't know. And if he is the man, then we just wait until it's official.
Absolutely.
Winnie Wynn says, I'm declaring myself as a Susan fanboy, by the way.
Susan's the best.
I'm sure she'll be impressed. Miggy in a good team will shine. The reason behind the Dan Ashworth question is there will always be fans who agree and those who disagree. It's all about opinions like this show.
Absolutely.
Exactly, Roy. 100%. Luke says you're looking out about 6 players that will leave or go down on loan. I think, you know...
That, mate.
Yeah, but...
There's 3 out of the 25-man squad currently, so that's half your 6. There'll be a lot more than 6, I think.
But it's who's going to buy these players. That's what
exactly.
You know. That's what needs looking at.
Thing.
You know, who's going to buy a? Oh, I don't know. Who's going to buy a Kieran Clark?
A Dwight Gale.
The people who are the 3 who are left out of the 25-man squad have contracts as well.
They do.
So we have people within the 25-man squad who have expiring contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So we could lose even people like Dummett's not been extended.
Has Shaw been tied down or not?
Shaw's not been extended yet. Longstaff's not been extended yet. There's a lot of people who are their contracts are up, and there's the 3 that weren't picked in the squad. So, you know, there could be 6 out the door before we even talk about people we want to get rid of. They just might go out the door automatically. So
indeed. Ab says, is it me or is Stato a little more tetchy since the move back to England was planned? So basically, are you feeling the stress, Alex?
It is stressful, yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it will be.
It is very stressful. It's more so I think it's Danielle keeps saying, and she's spot on, it's the emotional whirlwind since we went from the winning streak to the losses. People have not been able to handle it. And you've got to be able to start handling that, because despite the money, we're not going to win every game. You know, there's only the Invincibles are the only team who've gone a season without losing a match. It's very normal. It's very normal for teams, no matter how good they are. Real Madrid get thumped sometimes. So do Barca.
And when you're playing Chelsea, you're playing Tottenham, you know, the best team in the world in Tottenham Hotspur, who are a top 4 club.
Yeah.
We're nowhere near that at the moment, and I think.
But
we're rightfully getting overexcited about it because we're on this 9-game, you know, whatever winning streak, and it's disappointing, but we'll get there. It just takes time.
I'm more annoyed that Eddie Howe had to answer questions about the fan base's mood swing.
Don't get started on that again.
Because there were so many good footballing questions that have not been asked yet about positions and things like that. And the journalists are asking about the fans' mood swings. And that's for certain people in our fan base that are just being overly emotional and silly. Eddie Howe's having to waste his time answering stupid questions instead of talking about things we want to know about. And that's what's irritated me more. It's directly affecting the manager now, which is a problem. You need to stop it.
Okay, Alex, I'll try.
Not the people doing it need to stop it. It's
the people. Listen, people, you have heard Alex speak. He's heading back to the UK. This guy could end up Prime Minister. Do as he says.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Alan says the Brisbane Cherries, Bournemouth fans, stick with Eddie. He'll be a Geordie legend.
Yes, he will.
I think he will as well. I've always said that. You know, if we can get building up. Woods' penalty was actually very Shearer-esque. A great penalty. Go on, Alex, says Wayne. Toons is back.
Oh, great.
I go off what's real. That's happening in present, not of what could have happened, or if they had have scored, but then when in reality it never happened. Go off the stats that are current, not what the stat could have.
Wrong, completely wrong. Because you look at players' XG and expected assists in the past, and you can see if they were overperforming or underperforming. So you can see if they were doing better than they should have done or not as good as they should have done. These are stats used by every club to determine where, like, if a striker is overperforming, you can see that based on XG, and based on maybe what the team is. So that doesn't mean go and buy them and they're going to produce the same thing in a new team. It's important. These ifs and hypotheticals are crazy important in statistics and whether you agree with stats or you don't, that's more for you because all the clubs use them. So, they don't do it your way. They look at all these hypotheticals and stats and they make purchases and tactical decisions based on that. So
Eddie Howe does it, doesn't he?
Exactly. He's a massive stat man, Eddie Howe is. They love their stats. Their team's insane over there. I'd love to have a little peek into the world of Newcastle stats because they've got some. Yeah, that's been a big change.
You want to get in the stats room, don't you, Alex?
Well, there's certain stats that we're not privy to, such as like running stats. I'd love to see that. Like sprints per 90 and a lot of distance covered, because we've had a lot of interesting conversations about like work rate for Ryan Fraser and all this really good graft. But a lot of the free websites, you don't have access to the really detailed running stats. So it would be great to see some of the just some of the differences maybe between Bruce and Howe, like running graft. That'd be lovely to see.
Danielle.
Yeah.
Do you think it's safe to talk?
Yeah, go for it.
I think we're going to have
I've
to
got
give
your
Alex.
back.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to give Alex his 5-minute rant corner. Just between him and Toonza, Anyway, well done, Alex.
Yes.
Andrew says you were on a public forum, Alex. You have to take the rough and the smooth.
True. I can defend myself as well.
Well, listen, he can defend
Exactly.
himself. Exactly.
Of course
if somebody's.
can.
But that's what Alex. This is exactly what I'm saying here, guys. Is when you've got an opinion, right, and you disagree with someone's opinion, there is a way of discussing it. You have a conversation like grown adults, and Alex has his opinion, and he will come back and state why he has that opinion, and people will come back and say why they have their opinion. It's called adult conversation, and that's why we love Alex, because he comes back. He's always got an explanation. Me, I just rant and rave, as people know.
And I just kick off.
Danielle just kicks off. So he is he's the level-headed one of the group.
Yeah,
shall we
he
say?
is. Yes.
Well, I try to use tangible information in my defense, which helps. Who's going to be, in my opinion, who's going to be more correct? Eddie Howe, Jason Tyndall, the research team, and all the statisticians, and all the sports scientists, or this guy saying ASM runs into people too often. I'm going to listen to the club because they've got a dozen salaried people who do this professionally versus some person saying this view. Of course, I'm going to side with my club.
Go off what's real and not what you want them to be. I am not picking on you, Alex.
No, that's fair enough. It's not. But no, I agree. It's not personal. Fair enough. We can disagree.
It's not
That's
personal.
fine.
It's conversation.
No,
Toons is a good guy. I know. So he's not. I think I like shows like this where
it's
people
why we have shows like
and
this.
Exactly. It's good for everybody. I love seeing everybody else's opinion, and that's why I don't mind people disagreeing with me and telling me I'm wrong. But tell me I'm wrong in an adult way, not like, oh, you're an arsehole, or I'm unsubscribing and all of this kind of crap.
Yeah.
Just say, why do you disagree? Put your point across, and that's the whole point of it. Everyone has an opinion on football. Foxy says, I think the problem for Miggy is international breaks always interrupt his minutes for us. He returns and then he's back to the bench. That could be a very good point, actually.
Good point, Foxy.
Think about that. That is good.
Yep. Gary says, I love this show and all the people who contribute the best YouTube show about NUFC. Cheers, Gary. Thank you. Nice. Troll says, I think when you lose, as we did to Spurs, it looked like Bruce Ball, and that brought back Ashley era fear. Yeah.
PTSD.
Yeah. Andrew says, Paul, I love your instant reaction vids. Passion for the club shows and never apologize for it. Thanks, mate. Toons says, ooh, so because Alex is stressed, he needs to vent his anger bombs at me. Okay, I see how he is. Do you need a cuddle, Alex? Come and see Uncle Toons.
I just said well done for not getting personal, and you went personal.
Oh, he hasn't gone personal. He's just having a joke with you there, just saying he'll come and give you a cuddle.
Jokes don't translate very well in writing, but if it's a joke, fair enough. If it's not,
it is. He's a good guy, Toons. Listen, he's been with the channel a long time. He's a good one. And I just think Alex doesn't really seem like the cuddly type. I don't know whether anybody's noticed that.
I don't know. I think
Well,
he
I'm
might
certainly
be.
not going to try and give him a cuddle when he comes over here.
Mate, if you're 7'4", I ain't gonna be able to stop you.
I am not
So
7'4".
You're not far off.
I actually met Caitlin and Nick last night before the game. And funny enough, Caitlin was lovely. Never said anything sarcastic at all. And then this morning, Nick messaged to say, "Oh, it was great to see you last night." And it was the first time he'd been standing next to somebody that was 6'10". And I'm like, I'm not. I'm 6'5".
Yeah, do you not get it? 6'10", 6'10".
Shut up.
he just got it now.
Yeah. Nick, you're a twat. Barney says, thank you for the £5 super sticker, Barney. Really appreciate that. Right. Toonzer is not a bully. Jesus Christ.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
No one's bullying on you.
Damn not. Damn not.
That's definitely not bullying. That's fine. That's fine. If
Listen,
when people start getting all sweary on
discussion.
Twitter, that's a problem. And that's fine. That's cool. That's not a
see,
problem.
Gary's loving the Alex versus Toonzer. It's opinions bouncing off opinions. And, I'm the umpire. Toonzer's a good guy. Alex is, well, a very good friend. So, let's behave. Anyway, Jim says, the great players that when I found out changed, but ASM pouts and carries on as normal. He's been sussed, says Jim. Right. It's player ratings time. So this is going to be interesting. Alex, you can go first with Doobs.
Doobs.
I think he can have an 8. He made 2 saves.
Why not higher?
Well, he didn't have as much to do to warrant it, which is good. It means the rest of the players did their job well.
Chelsea is 6-0 up now, by the way.
Ooh, is it still first half?
No, just 10 minutes into the second.
Bloody hell.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Dubravka gets an 8. He made 2 saves, was called upon when necessary, but it's the fact he's improved his distribution and he's coming for crosses. He's not flapping. Yeah. He's finding his man. That's great. That's what we want to see. He's nervous about somebody coming in the summer. I don't know, but more of that, please, Dubravka. That was brilliant. So you can have an 8. He did very, very well.
Super, brilliant. Luke says group hug, definitely.
Therapy.
It's always therapy. Great show as usual, guys. Lovely to be able to enjoy the weekend so early. It is indeed, mate. Andrew says there's banter and there's disrespect. I like the shows that stick to the former. Social media is full of disrespect. That's why I came off it. These shows are a laugh. Exactly, Andrew. That's what it's all about, mate. Michael says, go on, Alex. If asked Alex about the passing stats from Bruce's time and Eddie's time now, can't wait to see them. I already know it's going to be so much better. Yeah,
I'm gonna do when we do the end of the season. I'm gonna do a Bruce and Eddie for everything comparison. I'm gonna get
there you go. There you go. The viewers ask, the viewers get. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Danielle.
Yes.
Emil of the Craftness.
I'd give him an 8.
Yeah.
Emil of the Craftness.
I thought he was really good, and I was really pleased to see him come back in with that performance because, when we played Manquillo, everybody had wanted it and said that Krafth wasn't really their choice and wanted Manquillo in. I don't think he played very well against Tottenham, so I was good to see Krafth back in. I thought he did really, really well. I think he's stepping up his game. The coach and staff are obviously putting a lot of time into him and he's learning from it, so a solid 8 from me.
Suave says you do realise it was Joe Linton who played Woodin and not ASM. It was the ASM, wasn't it?
No, it was Joe. So ASM did the back heel.
Oh, yes.
And then Joe Linton passed it. So ASM gets a second assist, which of course doesn't count for anything. But
Matthew says, just me who thought Wood looked like a decent player after the game, after he scored. Yeah, me.
Agree, Matthew.
Yeah, definitely. I think Chelsea Southampton could be another 9-0. Toons, Paul, I never meant to bring your show into disrepute, so I shall leave. I was not bullying. Alex, I just see certain player ways different to other. That's what we're saying, Toons. There's
no bullying.
There's no bullying going on. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
I like this. When people disagree with me, I like to have something to have a dialogue with.
Exactly.
It's great.
Exactly.
If you disagree with me, come and ask a question or give a point. Don't just go, you're stupid and leave. What you did is fine. It's cool.
Yeah, you give your points, Toons, so don't be daft. It's not bullying, mate. And I, for one, stuck up for you. Never forget that.
We're all friends here.
Exactly. So let's all just chill, big breath. But tunes it, you don't have to go anywhere because I value your opinion. I know you've been part of this channel for a while, matey. So, like Alex has said, it's debate, and that's what these shows are all about. It's having a bit of a debate. You're explaining why you think your way. Alex is explaining why he thinks that his way. That's perfectly normal. It's not bullying. That's just having an opinion, and I think that's why people. Yeah, Matthew says everyone knows you're not bullying tunes. Of course you're not. It's opinions, and that's what makes this show what it is. People like having different opinions. So don't you go anywhere, Tunza. What kind of fish do you have in that aquarium? Says Bravo. Things that bite. I've totally revamped the tank today, and I got bitten 3 times. One drew blood. Yeah. So
which one was it? Was it Suarez?
It could have been Suarez. Yes. Suarez definitely had a dig at me. Right, we'll go to Julie says we dealt with the bullying comment so we don't stand for people saying untruths. Yep, fair enough. Foxy says Alec takes his stats seriously. Don't mess with him or else.
Correct.
Dave says if everyone agreed all the time, life would be rather boring. Indeed it would. Indeed it would. I like this show. It is a great show, especially with Alex's stats. Simon says, what's all this playground nonsense? We're here to talk football, not jibes. Exactly. Trolls, thanks very much. We all know the only bully here is Paul. Well, aren't you? Trolls is probably one of my longest ever subscribers, and he still throws that at me. Honestly, I love you really, Trolls, but you're on a thin line. Andy says, still waiting for Alex's story as to why he's a Toon fan. I'm going to do a show with Alex, and we'll get to know that, so don't worry. Ab says families argue all the time, so it's no big deal. Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. Right, who are we up to? Matt Target. Right, Matty Target, I'm going to give an 8 as well because I thought he was outstanding again last night. Very, very, very secure, very strong. Did what he had to do. Looked a lot more... he just looked a lot more, back to his old self than what he did against Tottenham.
Yeah.
So, yeah, an 8 for me. So we've had 3 8s so far. Who says we're negative? Jesus Christ. Andrew says, cartilage shot in both my knees and constant pain makes me cranky. But this show proper cheered me up. Thanks for all the time you put in, Paul, Danielle, and Alex. Thanks very much, Andrew. George says, do you have a midget gems in the fish tank? Asking for a friend. You know how I promised George midget gems? Because
I love midget gems.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say midget gems anymore, but you know what I mean. Well, I took 2 bags to the match yesterday, and they're still in the side pocket of the car. So I'll keep them there and then take them to the Leicester game. So George will get his fill of midget gems.
You're always leaving things in the car, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll not talk about that. I'm just very forgetful. It's what it is. It's what it is. It's what it is. Joel says, I'm proud of our team. They have stepped up till now and long may it continue. Indeed.
Amen.
Indeed. Matthew calls them little people gems. It's even worse. Christopher says, Target, the most consistent player in our team, apart from Spurs away. He's been class. He has indeed. Alex Stanburn.
I am gonna give him an 8 as well, actually, because he improved a few bits. He started contributing a bit more to the long balls. This is becoming a little bit of an issue. There was who was it played through? It wasn't Silva. I think it was Neto who was played through. An identical ball to the Havertz goal was played through late on, where somebody got. I think it was that the Cody ball over. It might have been Cody to Neto.
Yeah,
and it was the same as the Havertz goal. And he's got to watch that diagonal ball because teams are starting to play that ball in the final 10 minutes of matches against Burns specifically. I wonder if that's a theme. I hope it's not. But the team will be planning for that. But he improved. He was involved more. He got on the end of a striker chance as well. Did you see him get dinked through? There was some interesting parts of Burns' game yesterday that I haven't seen before. So he gets an 8. It was interesting from Burn.
Chloe, I know I've seen your comment earlier on. You got burgled again last night.
No way.
Honestly, you need to get yourself out of there, sweetheart. You need to get yourself back to a safe place. I know it's happened to you a couple of times now. I know you complain about where you are all the time. you need to get something done, sweetheart, and get out of there, because it's when you burgle numerous times, you then start thinking of your own safety. So thoughts are with you, Chloe. Get yourself sorted and get somewhere safe, man. But keep your head up as well, because I know you're a good laugh. Keep that smile on your face and keep going. Don't let them get to you.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll get sorted out. So we're all with you, Chloe. Right, Danielle, yours is now Fabian Scher.
So I'm going to give him an 8, plus he's also going to be the recipient of this week's Danielle Award.
Ooh.
Okay. So he gets an 8 because he's a
dread
warrior.
to think who the hell is going to get the Alex Award, but we'll come to that at the end.
No, I think he had a great game again yesterday. I really love Shaw, and I think we need to tie him down pretty quickly to another contract. We can't let him go. I really like him, and he receives the award just for being an absolute warrior. Like he's played games with bandages around his head, a la Shearer. Yesterday he worried me when he went down, and he looked like he was struggling towards the end of the game. And I just love that he just never gives up. So he's the recipient of the Danielle Award this week.
Wow. Interesting.
He deserves it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
6 out of 10 long balls as well. He was pinging them over. He had a couple of good ones.
His passing was a lot better last night. It just seemed like everything clicked into gear again last night with the defense.
Yeah.
So we have to be really proud of them. Now into the midfield, I will go with John Joe Shelvey, and I'm going to give John Joe a 7. He didn't do anything outstanding. I mean, he pinged in the one ball in the first half. He played down across to, I think it was through for Chris Wood. It was an incredible pass. So I think, I'm going to give him a 7. He was steady away again yesterday. The thing that frustrates me about Newcastle, and we've said it for months now, is the movement is not good. When we have the ball, the movement isn't it isn't great. When you look at the top teams, they pass and they move all the time. We're very static. But I think that will improve with better players coming in. But when you've got like John Joe, who likes to hit the through balls and things like that, it's difficult for him at times to get his head up and play those balls in. But I think he did really well yesterday. He was back to... Sorry?
He was good statistically with them, though.
Yeah.
He got 9 out of 10 long balls.
That's what I mean. He played some great ones. So I think, a 7, and he was steady away again, John Joe. No complaints for me. I mean, there was one guy behind us. There was one guy behind us last night. Joe Linton passed the ball. He was trying to pass to Shelvey, but I think it was in the first half, and he passed to a Wolves player. And the fella behind started shouting at John Joe Shelvey, and I'm thinking he can't win. I think it was Joe Linton to give the ball away, and still Shelvey's in the wrong. And I'm like, oh, well, whatever.
I feel so bad about Shelvey. I'm so gutted that Shelvey's not 3 years younger.
I know.
I think he could have been a part of this going forward for more so than he would be now.
Indeed.
If he still had the legs and the physicality he did when he was 26, it's a real shame because he's got that quality.
Yep. Elliot Anderson scored again, by the way. He's just equalised for Bristol.
Well done, Elliot.
At Tranmere. He's having a good time. He's having a good time. Right, Alex, back to you, and you can have Bruno.
Yeah, I get Bruno. So yeah, I think he deserves a 9. He's got to get the highest rating. For me, Daniel, stat-wise, 10s are for people who score hat tricks.
I think if he'd scored last night, I would.
But he wears a magic hat, though.
He does wear a magic hat. Well, he's got a 9 and a magic hat. That's what he gets. Yeah, he was incredible. So some statistics that people missed that weren't reported on. He actually drew 5 fouls, which is incredible. Which released a lot of pressure. He looks like he has increased his physicality because he wasn't just getting pushed off the ball and not awarded the foul. 4 out of 5 long balls. He got a key pass, successful cross, 2 out of 2 dribbles, 5 tackles as well. Absolute monster. And he, as everybody said, he is a Champions League quality player. Yeah. He looks great in a Brazil shirt. He looks great in black and white. He
looks great generally.
Yeah, it's just an absolute. It's just lovely.
You know what I like about him, Alex, is the way he sticks his. I'm trying to compare him to when he's got the ball, he sticks his arse out. To block anybody trying to get the ball off him, and he spins them. and he spins into space, and then it gives him the opportunity to put in a pass. He's just fantastic at doing that.
Yeah, it's the smaller built terrier, isn't it? Not in the same way Kante does it, but it's in that mold of smaller, but knows how to position himself to win the foul.
Which is what I was trying to explain about Miggy. You know, Miggy's a similar height to Bruno. I just wish he'd fill out a little bit. You know what I mean? Get some muscle on him, because sometimes you think he's just a bit lightweight, whereas Bruno just. You know,
Bruno knows where to.
Does.
Yeah, he doesn't need the extra muscle because he knows how to win the foul. He's just so good positionally.
Yeah, definitely. So a 9 for Bruno and Danielle, Joelinton.
I'm gonna give him a 7. I'm gonna give him a 7, and this is why I'm gonna give him a 7. I still feel like he's playing with an injury. I feel like a little bit yesterday I could see it. I thought at times he gave the odd ball away, and hey, look, it's no criticism because you know the turnaround in that player is like second to none. But I just feel like there's something not quite right with Joelinton at the minute, and good on him for wanting to.
I think that groin's giving him bother. I really genuinely do.
Yeah.
And I can see in the summer, I can see it being an operation for Joelinton.
He came off, didn't he? Didn't he come off for Sean? Am I getting that wrong? I think he came off. No, he didn't come off.
No, Maxi came off, Bruno came off, and of course Fraser.
He was struggling.
Yeah, and I just worry that he's playing on with that injury unless they've got plans to get him operated on, and he's just playing through the pain barrier. And if he is, absolute credit to him.
Absolutely, that's what I mean by it's not a criticism. I just feel like he's just not himself. He made some great challenges at points in the game yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
So I'm not having a go. I just think there's something not right that needs sorting with him. Maybe in the summer.
Well, I hope Willett comes back soon as well. That was unlucky to hear about the injury.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, thanks for becoming a new member of the channel, matey. Welcome to the Toon Review family. Thank you for joining aboard this Toon Review pleasure cruise into God knows where.
I would call it a crazy speedboat. That's what I would call it.
A crazy speedboat or a train to nowhere, a train to God knows where, actually. But, we're a fantastic bunch. Well, you guys are. You're fantastic. So
not too bad yourself.
Well, I try. But, I love the members, subscribers, love the channel, basically. It's a big family, as we keep saying. So where are we up to now? We're up to the front three now. Now, I'm going to take Fraser out of this because he was only on the pitch 7 minutes.
Yeah,
so I think Miggy played the full game. So I'm going to go with Miggy, and I'm going to give Miggy an 8. Not how I felt about him last night, but rewatching the game, I'll admit I was wrong, completely wrong. I watched him do some great things with Bruno. His positional play was very good. Nothing you can take away with Miggy's effort. You can never, ever say anything about Miggy's effort. But yesterday, he had the left-footed shot over the bar. He was there, no doubt about it. So definitely an 8 for Miggy for me. And long may this continue. If Miggy's going to play next game, I hope he has another blinder. I hope he really does. Because I think if the quality of Bruno is going to improve players like Miggy, then do it. No doubt about it. And he combined with Bruno. And what I liked about Bruno yesterday was he was very vocal as well. I don't know whether you picked it up on the TV, but he was very vocal. Telling pointing players where to be and where to run. And he was always interacting with Miggy. So, and I did notice that on the TV when I watched it.
I think it was an easier game for him because of Wolves obviously all being Portuguese. I think Bruno felt a bit more, because they were all chatting to him like on and off the ball, just in friendly moments. So I think, and obviously he was next to Joelinton, so I think Bruno probably felt a lot more at home in that match because there's so much there was probably more Portuguese going on than English. I think Cody's probably one of the few speaking English on their team. So
indeed. But no, Miggy and 8, fantastic and well done. And I apologise, Miggy, I was wrong last night on the instant reaction, but that's what it is. It's an instant reaction. When things get looked at again, you change your mind.
On Miggy's heat map as well, his reddest point on his heat map is actually the right side of their 18-yard box. So Miggy was
he was up there, yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Danielle, other side, Mr. Maximin.
I'm going to give him a 7.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to give him a 7 just because when he turns up and he's so exciting, he just captivates everyone, and I love to watch him. But yesterday, I just felt at times, not for the whole game, I felt frustrated at him losing the ball.
Yeah.
I also felt frustrated at the theatrics a little bit at times. But that's just my opinion. And hopefully,
I'd say the same. I agree with that.
Is that just Maxi though? And it's something we're gonna have to get. We're
Yeah,
gonna have to
probably.
say, right? That's just him. The theatrics and the
You know
theatre
what?
and all of that comes with him.
People probably like watching this get sick of me and the way I go on, but that's just because of how I am. So that's it. So I would give him a 7.
Coolio.
I agree. He didn't do enough for an 8. If he'd have kept a couple of those shots down and hit a couple of crosses, then he gets the 8. But he didn't.
Yeah.
7's fair. Very, very fair.
Cool. And you get Mr. Wood, Alex.
I will give Wood an 8.
Well said.
I don't think I've spoken about Wood at all yet this show. I don't care if Wood scores or not. I say this a lot. I don't care if he scores. I want him to do his job properly. And yesterday he did his job properly. He brought people into play a bit more. He contributed a bit more. He kept the ball a bit more, took the pressure off, and that's what we need. Realistically, it doesn't matter who scores the goals for this season. Going forward, obviously, we want to build a bit of a structure and a system, but at the moment, we don't care who scores. So he did his job much, much better, and he was very, very clever to win the penalty. That's experience, and that's, maybe somebody else on our team might not have won that penalty, but he knew where to run the ball to get the contact. I think Wolves fans were a little bit annoyed with the pen, but it is 100% a penalty, as should have been the Ederson one. It doesn't matter if the ball was going out. He slid into the player. You can't do that and miss the ball. It's a pen. And his penalty was incredible. And everybody keeps mentioning as well, he also got a boost from scoring. He played even better after the goal.
He did.
So again, he doesn't need to score, but I want to see that from him every game, and that'll be great. It'll give us a good chance of taking points if he turns up like that.
Yeah, definitely. Right, the other substitute was obviously Sean Longstaff, but I don't think he was even on long enough to give any score to anyway. So
he didn't do much. But
he didn't do much, but he wasn't on the pitch to do much for that long. So I mean, the substitutes were and of course Jacob Murphy came on with like 20 seconds left. So
8 minutes.
Yeah,
8 minutes.
You can't really mark. You can't. Yeah, you can't mark on that, to be honest.
Clever substitutions, though, from Howe to do one on the 88th and the 90th. Yeah. He was spreading them out to waste time.
Yeah. Foxy says, I know Wood isn't a world beater, but his goals and contribution to the goal versus Brighton has resulted to a huge 9 points. True. If we stay up, that £25 million is a good buy. He won't be our starter next season, though. Fair enough, Foxy. Yep, I agree with that. By the way, Arsenal are now 2-0 down at home and Leeds are 2-0 up at Watford. So I think Watford are going down. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, we want Arsenal to lose because they're after a lot of players we're interested in the summer. So we don't want them to get Champions League.
Yeah, but they're having a mare against the Brighton side who hasn't exactly been fantastic this season. Right, that is the end. Oh, no, it's not. We haven't done Eddie Howe and we've all got to agree on Eddie Howe. Alex, Eddie Howe?
I'll give him a 9.
I would.
I thought he was incredible. I was worried he was going to go to wing backs, and he didn't. He kept his backbone and his nerve, and he went for the same system, and he just tried to execute the plan better and make sure the plan was right, and he did it, and it's great to see. Made the tactical changes when necessary. Miggy obviously got the right instructions. He was doing interesting things. The improvement for Krafth is there to see, and his late substitutions were correctly spaced out to waste time for the final whistle. Like, I don't know what else he could have done better, to be honest. I'll give him a 9.
Same.
Danielle?
I agree with that. Fully agree with it. I think he had a fantastic. Came back great after the week after the Tottenham game, and I just thought I was worried. Obviously, his press conferences, you don't know what he's saying really because he talks. He never doesn't give anything away. So I was a bit worried at 7 o'clock last night when the team came out, but then I seen it and thought, fair enough. His subs were great. I just think he's the all-round package. Love him.
Yeah. I'll give him a 9 as well. So we're all agreed on a 9. You guys have said exactly what I would say. Jay Clough Jr., thanks for becoming a new member of the Toon Review. Welcome to this mad family. And indeed, we've got the Alex Award. Now, which Newcastle player gets the Alex Award this week?
I feel like I'm going to give the Stat Award to Shelby. I feel like the obvious choice is Bruno, and Bruno probably does deserve it. But I'm going to give it to Shelby purely because he's had a couple of wobbly games, and he was very solid yesterday. He completed most of his passes, 9 out of 10 long balls, and he was reliable. And I felt like that is understated and underrated how much of a difference that made, having an okay Shelby sat as the anchor. It made a difference. It allowed Bruno to do the things he was doing because Shelby was sat there. And again, we've talked about the Shah to Shelby to Trippier triangle. We also had that extended up to Bruno yesterday. And when Trippier comes back as well, and we've all of a sudden got those passing options on that right side, I feel like Shelby was a little bit underrated yesterday. He didn't have a great game, but he kept things ticking along, and he was in the right place at the right time. Made a couple of high-pressured runs to win the ball in the left wing as well. So stat-wise, 9 out of 10 long balls, I think, is incredible in this day and age in the Premier League. That's very tough to do. So I'm going to give it to Shelby.
Okay. Terrace says this show is therapeutic. Okay. That's I've never actually had a show being called therapeutic before, but thank you very much. Winnie Wynn says, thanks for the show and chat, everyone. Always fun. No problem at all. Josh says, great show. Could only see a little. See you next time. No bother, my friend. No bother. I'm going to do a Paul Award then, because if you're giving awards out, then I'll do award. And my award is Chris Wood. And I'm saying that because when I've had time to think about it, and I've obviously watched the game back, and the pressure on that guy's shoulders for the penalty, the way he stuck up and just absolutely lashed it home was fantastic. And you know what? I hope this is a start for Chris Wood of a real turnaround for him. Because when I've looked at the runs he's made and things like that, I have changed my mind on his performance yesterday. And I'll openly admit that. Miggy was very close to getting it as well. But I think because of the pressure that was on his shoulders to score that goal, no doubt about it. And listen, it's onwards and upwards for the Toon now, because I cannot see Watford catching us. They're getting beat today. We are going to be in the Premier League next season. We're going to have class players to watch next season. We're going to win something within a couple of years, because the Geordies are rising like a phoenix from the flipping flames, guys.
Correct.
Without a shadow of a doubt, we are coming for everybody, and we are going to take over the footballing world. And those trophies at halftime will be the ones that the Toon have won. You can guarantee it. It is going to happen. It is going to happen. Right. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching and taking the time out your Saturday afternoon to watch us three in this crazy, crazy channel that it is. Thank you very much. If you have enjoyed it, sorry, Alex says, didn't you say you were doing the Bobby Robson book draw? That's going to be on Monday night show with me and Alex. Simply because I've got a new Wheel of Fortune thing that I picked the winner from. So I need to finish putting the names into that. So it will be on Monday, Alex. Sorry for the delay, but it is going to be definitely Monday. Somebody will win that book. And there's lots of prizes coming up as well. Lots of them. So for subscribers and for members. But if you want to win the big stuff, the good stuff, become a member. But do hit the thumbs up if you have enjoyed the show today, guys. And as usual, if you're not subscribed, please do consider doing it, and hit the notification bell, which will let you know every time we upload or we go live. Brilliant little family. Well, little family. It's over 10,000 now, isn't it? It's not so little. It's brilliant. So yeah, get yourself involved. And obviously, as I say, you can become a member. Hit the join button underneath the video, or as I say, the link is in the description below. Thank you to everybody that super chatted today as well. Thank you for your donations. Very, very kind of you, as per usual. Thank you to Danielle and Alex. And thank you to the mods backstage for keeping an eye on the chat. Me and Alex will be back on Monday night. So make sure to join us for the third installment of our free transfer show. And then 8:30 Tuesday night is the fan forum. Are you joining us, Danielle? Or are you?
Sorry.
Oh, you've got an early start again.
Wednesday morning.
Oh, dear. But we will be back, of course. Danielle will be back later on in the week when we do the preview of the Leicester game.
Yeah.
So that should be an interesting one. But thank you very much, everybody. Big shout out, of course, as well to Geordie Riffs for their continued support of the channel. Premium guitar lessons for beginners and children. guitar repairs and servicing, and a recording studio. You can catch them at geordieriffs.co.uk, at Geordie Riffs on Instagram, and Geordie Riffs Official on Facebook. And don't forget to join our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok accounts. But until Monday night, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We got 3 points, and how are the lads?
How are the lads?
Stay safe, be kind, keep smiling, and we'll see you soon, guys. Good afternoon.